Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Thank you for joining us for another episode of In the Streets of Medina, where we will learn life lessons from the seerah of the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam. In today's episode, inshallah, we will be discussing Saqifa Bani Sa'ada. This is a garden that is located right outside the courtyard area of what is the present day Masjid Nabawi. This garden was a communal area where the Ansar and the people of Medina used to meet together and congregate as their town hall meetings for any significant event or any celebration or any specific matter that needed to be discussed. They would gather here and they would discuss it in this garden area that was right outside the city of Medina. And as we had discussed in the earlier in the series, the courtyard area was about the size of Madinatul Munawwara, and as you can see in the northwest corner, Saqifa Bani Sa'ada is right there, right outside the courtyard area. So the Prophet ﷺ visited this garden and he drank from the waters there. It has since been reconstructed as a historical landmark because of the significant event that takes place, which is after the demise of the Prophet ﷺ, after the Prophet ﷺ has passed away, the Ansar gathered here to discuss who the next leader would be. And they were on the verge of giving their allegiance to Sa'ad bin Ubadah radiallahu an, who was amongst the leaders of the Ansar. And just then, Abu Bakr and Umar radiallahu an walked in and joined the conversation as a means to be representatives of the Muhajirun, because this was a significant decision that would impact both the Ansar and the Muhajir. So it was important to have their representation. So they listened intently to the arguments of the Ansar, presented that the leadership should be from the Ansar because they had the treaties with the Yahud. They know the lay of the land. They know how to farm and till the land, and they know how to defend against enemies if they were to attack, because they were well aware of the strategic locations surrounding Medina. So these were all very logical arguments that were presented. However, the Prophet ﷺ left behind a hadith which Abu Bakr radiallahu an narrated to the companions, presented, and he said, the Prophet ﷺ stated that the Khilafah, the leadership, will be from the Quraysh. At this point, the Ansar are all silent, and Abu Bakr radiallahu anh says, based off this hadith and off the virtue of Umar radiallahu anh that the Prophet had mentioned, I give my allegiance to Umar. Umar radiallahu anh turns back and says, "Oh Abu Bakr, I give my allegiance to you." And he lists off the numerous virtues of Abu Bakr radiallahu anh, being that Abu Bakr radiallahu anh was the one that led the salah when the Prophet ﷺ was sick. He was the one that accompanied the Prophet ﷺ in the hijrah. And there are so many virtues that we can discuss and go on and on. But I'm going to cut it off here. And the life lesson that I want all of us to take is that when there is a hadith that comes, a sahih hadith that the ulama have interpreted as to be acted upon, we take it as it is and implement it wholeheartedly, even if we don't understand the wisdom of it at that moment. We put the naql, the revelation, before our aql. We put the revelation before our intellect. Obviously, there's a lot of wisdom behind the revelation. We should try our utmost to uncover those wisdoms, to uncover the hikmah behind certain acts of worship, certain benefits that we can have as human beings. However, when there's something that comes from revelation and we cannot understand the immediate wisdom, we cannot immediately understand the wisdom behind it, we follow it wholeheartedly, knowing that it's from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's infinite wisdom. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give us the understanding of His religion and to give us the tawfiq, the guidance to act upon His religion. Jazakallah khair. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.